Most churches complicate their programming, which leads to confusion in their marketing and can make keeping up with their media very complex in and of itself. Your church should really only be doing three things. That's right, just three. We're going to talk more about that in a moment. First, I want to welcome you to Church Media HQ, your church's one source for graphics, websites, videos, and all things creative. My name is Luke Clayton, and thanks for joining me. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when we release new content like this. Everything that your church promotes really should be fitting into one of three categories. We're going to cover the first one in this part, and we'll get to the other two later in the series. So the most obvious is oftentimes kind of just taken for granted because it's what churches do. But the number one category that you need to make sure you're promoting is your worship. And this, by this, I'm referring to your main worship times, your Sunday or weekend service times. This is obviously the front-facing aspect of your church that people interested in your church are going to be looking for. It's nearly, for virtually everyone, it's pretty much the first step in almost every case. So you want to keep your emphasis to potential newcomers on Sunday and weekend worship. Again, I know this seems really obvious, but a lot of times churches get really bogged down in kind of, if you will, the extracurricular, and they forget that, oh yeah, we do church every Sunday. And that is when, again, thinking from the perspective of someone from the outside, that is what they are looking for. They're looking for, what does your church offer on Sundays or weekends? If you offer Saturday services as well, it doesn't really matter. It's your main worship times throughout the week. There's a place for the extracurricular. We're going to talk more about that later. There's a whole other, category for that. But it's so easy to forget to push, promote, and emphasize our simple weekly main worship services because we get so caught up in the other extra stuff that we're offering, the events and the activities and all of that good stuff. Again, there is a place for it, but we have to remember that we need to be making a regular emphasis on our Sunday and weekend worship opportunities. So what can you do about it right now? Well, this seems really simple, but you really need to maybe take a step back and evaluate how well your main worship times are being pushed and promoted amongst your church and your community. We can assume that this is happening, but again, many times it's so easy to forget. So you want to check and make sure that your website, for example, is actually making it easy to find those service times. You want to make sure that any materials, any signage, any handouts, that they actually are mentioning your service times and even making a point to emphasize those main worship times. And here's what Church Media HQ could do for you. I was talking about your website, and I am shocked at how many church websites either do not dominantly feature their main worship times or actually don't feature them at all. I actually remember not long ago, I was trying to help a church redesign their website, and I was kind of doing an evaluation of the website, and I kid you not, I went to every page, every section of the website that I could publicly discover there on their website, and I could not find their service times. This is a huge problem, and it is so, again, it's because it's something that you do so often, it can be so easy to forget about. So make sure that your website is featuring it, and we would love to help you with that because websites not only make sure that the info is front and center, but it needs to also make sure that you're actively engaging those browsing your site to connect with your church and even go as far as planning a visit. Now, with any website we make at Church Media HQ, that is what it's all about. It's optimized to make those personal connections. And you can actually demo a website from us for free. And if you want to sign up for that today, you can do that right there at churchmediahq.com/start. You could start a demo. And what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of information about your church and we'll create a sample demo website that we can show to you and walk through you and show, hey, here's what we can do to make your website better and make sure that those worship times are emphasized in particular. And if you like what you see, that demo can easily be launched as your brand new website if you would like that, or you could just take the concepts from that demo and implement them on your current website. Either way, we just want to help you optimize your website to connect with more people, and in this case, make sure that those main worship times are featured. So worship, that's the first of these three primary areas of focus that's going to simplify what you do, and then of course streamline your media and marketing process. The second area is probably even more overlooked than the first when it comes to your church marketing, and that's where we're going to pick it up next time. We are your church's one source for graphics, websites, videos, and all things creative. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time right here on Church Media HQ.